Hello, my name is Nick and welcome to Watch This Now. In Fabric is a comedic horror film written and directed by Peter Strickland that is about a killer dress. Yes, there's more to it, but also not really. The film centers on a middle-aged woman in London named Sheila, played by Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who is great in the role, and she wants to spice up her life. She wants to feel alive again. So she starts by buying this beautiful new dress at a department store that magically fits perfectly so she can go on some dates and get out in the social world again. But the dress seems to only bring more problems to poor Sheila as mysterious events continuously unfold. And that's just the beginning. The thing about In Fabric is that it is stylized like a classic giallo film, which for anyone who just is not as invested in horror as I am, giallo films were Italian thrillers of the 60s and 70s that helped inform the slasher films of the 70s and 80s. And as simple as that might sound, those films are so richly cinematic. They're beautiful, the colors, they are just ravishing films that are beautiful, and I love going back to them. And the filmmaker here does such a good job of capturing that feel and that vibe. In fact, it doesn't even feel as though it takes place in one specific time period. When are we in Fabric? Who knows? No clue. But the color palette is off the charts. The visuals alone will make you feel like you've dropped acid, and once you get to scenes of mannequin masturbation, your mind will be blown. While I usually judge every film based on the story it's telling, this is one of those rare films where the story is secondary to the style, and the cinematography here is just incredible. The style here is the substance, and oh, is it oozing with style. The editing here also does a really good job of feeling like a retro piece of art. However, there are moments where I do feel like the edits are so fast we jump into a scene a little fast when we could have used some more establishing shots just to let us know what's going on. Sometimes it feels like we jump right into a scene, and that does take me out of the film here and there, but overall it still plays pretty well. The idea of a killer dress is admittedly absurd, and I wasn't sure how this film was going to play. I am very critical of horror comedies. Not a lot work for me. I want my horror to be horrifying and my comedy to be terrifying. When it does work, I love it. But it's an almost impossible balance to find that somehow In Fabric manages. The situations dramatically progress, but they happen to be both funny and scary, and I just have to give it credit there for being able to get under my skin while also making me laugh out loud. The biggest problem I have with In Fabric is a crucial story mistake that it makes about over halfway through the film, and it's just baffling to me. We spend so much time with our main character Sheila, about a good hour and 15 minutes, and then we spend 40 minutes on a completely different story. Everything stops and we shift gears into something completely different, only to wrap the film up with material you cared about more in the first half, so it doesn't really make sense to me. I do understand what the filmmaker was going for. The message is simple. We're supposed to see the sort of havoc this dress causes as it moves from person to person. And I think that could have worked better in an anthology format if there were, say, 4 different stories about this killer dress. I could really get behind that. In fact, I would really like to see that movie. Please make it Peter Strickland. But it's perplexing to me the way the filmmaker went about making this, because we spend so much time on one story and then so little on another. It's like, do one story or multiple stories, but here we have mostly one story with a little bit of story jammed in, and it doesn't really work overall. I would like it to. I like what's happening within those different stories. I do like them, especially Sheila's story. I really liked her and watching her play out, and I think I just wanted more of her. But it's also very annoying because I feel like this issue could be fixed so easily. I know just how to bridge that stuff together, and it doesn't happen in the film, and I'm just like, ugh! But what this movie does have to offer, I really like. This is so very A24. It seems in order to be released by A24, you have to have one bonkers-ass, batshit crazy scene that comes out of nowhere and is never really explained at all. And In Fabric has a scene it's just gonna have, you're probably gonna mentally check out, to be honest. In a very A24 year, In Fabric manages to be super A24, and for that alone, I really liked it. I'm gonna give In Fabric a 3.5 out of 5. It has some problems that are straight up grating to me, but at the same time, I also look at what's on display, and I have very few issues aside from the big ones. It's technically sound and very entertaining in a twisted and just bonkers fashion. Few films like In Fabric come around, and for that alone, I really enjoy it. This is my kind of film. If you want an idea of the sort of movies I like and what I'm looking for, In Fabric is it. And if you have the opportunity to find this at some local art house like I did, I went to some tiny little theater that didn't even have seats. There were like chairs and couches, and it was really fun to be sitting there with some locals just soaking up this really art house film. I really enjoyed it. The entire audience, we were laughing as it was going. We had a great time with this, which I was really surprised because I expected this one to be a bit of a shit show. What did you think of In Fabric? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one because it is all over the place. This one is, well, you can just tell me. Thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and stay tuned for more reviews coming at ya because we're at the end of the year and I'm just gonna have to like upload like rapid fire out here. So let me know what you want to see and what you've been watching recently, and I'll see you in my next video.